What's going on, ladies and gents? Digibus here, bringing you guys today some more Rainbow Six Siege gameplay. We're going to be talking about today the mid-season reinforcement and potentially a new operator. Now, I know that this is kind of what happened last time with the mid-season reinforcement when Tachanka got a buff. We got to see a look at Mira and kind of explain how his turret was added to the game. And I'll be showing you an image here quickly of Glaz and some other lady with a sniper scope, and it talks about how they have the backstory of how Glaz got his sniper scope upgrade. So maybe she could be some sort of new operator that has a spotting scope. We don't know. Probably not. I mean, she could be a Polish operator, like an attacker. Polish and Russian units could have worked together. Whatever. I don't know. But she might be something interesting. But here, we're mostly going to focus on the mid-season reinforcement, and then I'll talk about what this potential operator could bring. So the first big thing, let's talk about Glaz. So Glaz's flip-flop sight is an addition, is now an addition of a thermal visual feedback when aiming down sight. This will make defenders pop out when they come to view. So pretty much now every time you start yelling at Glaz to bring their scopes into close range, now they technically have a little bit more of a reason if you can see that glow. It gives Glaz pretty much something that I thought he needed for a long time, was a thermal scope. Of course, with his smoke that he has and all this and whatnot, this is very powerful, but at the same time, he kind of needed this to compete anyways. Glaz himself wasn't terrible because he could rip apart enemies, but that was about it. There was nothing really else to it. This isn't per se going to make Glaz top tier elite operator status, you know, but it will definitely bring him up more in, you know, now you'll be able maybe to land shots easier. Maybe if you have a noob Glaz on your team, he'll be more in tune to hit shit because he has a thermal scope and can actually see what he's aiming at for once in his life, which is good, of course. That's pretty much it. It can see through smoke, as I mentioned before, and it kind of glows a little orange when you look at someone. Not very much to it. You guys really know how thermal optics work in video games. So yeah, let's move on. I'm going to be covering pretty much the bigger operator changes that are coming to the game. There are some minor ones. There is actually a mild blitz bluff that I will mention, but Doc can now overheal to 140, which is amazing. I mean, you know, overhealing to 140 is pretty powerful. That's an additional 20 damage on top. You know, that really can tank a lot more damage now. An additional 20 health is a lot, especially when you're versing an Ash or anyone who's a heavy hitting gun like Buck, Blackbeard, if anyone ever picks him again, Jackal and all that. And actually Jackal is getting a nerf finally, which is good, but we'll get to that later because it's a minor nerf. It's just to his gun. Buck gets an extra magazine for Skeleton Key. That's cool with me. I like the destructibility that it brought in. That's good. I'm okay with that. I like running Buck, so this is something that I'm okay with. Red Dot Reflex, Hollow Sight reticules are getting smaller. I don't know how I feel about this. At this point, they keep getting changed, and it's just getting to the point where Ubisoft let us have that customization that Battlefield had, where we can change our optics. Now, normally I wouldn't say that's a good thing in a game like Rainbow Six Siege, because you don't want, you know, it could give a different advantage, but at this point, Ubisoft has changed it so much where it's like, just guys, just get over it and give us the options to customize the size and brightness of our reticules, you know? Like, it's you're getting to the point where you guys are changing them practically every patch, and you got to get used to these sights all over again. So, I don't know. I'm just kind of getting tired of these sights being changed all the time. So, whatever. We'll take that. DMR trigger rate has been adapted to prevent rapid firing. So the DMR's maximum trigger rate has been lowered to prevent rapid firing, as I just stated again. The changes have been made because maximizing trigger rate was too high. Some people were able to click so fast on their mouse to turn the DMR into a fully automatic assault rifle. We felt like it was too strong. Of course, there's also modded controllers or controller assists like the Xbox Elite controller that have that little stop that can make your controller stop sooner. A bunch of other things along those lines. Echo's MP5 will do more damage at medium range. It will now... let's see, it is now 29 damage from 0 to 15 meters and then falls out to 14 damage at 20 meters from its previous 10 meters, which is from its previous 25 damage, so it kind of it hits a lot more and it drops off a lot less, which is pretty good at mid-range. Thermite's assault rifle will be receiving reduced recoil. Caveira's super silent pistol, secret agent pistol, has also had a drop-off kind of tweak. It does more damage at mid-ranges, which, of course, the thing's already stupid powerful, but hey, why not? We need more Caveira sniping. Jackal C70's recoil is getting balanced. By this, they mean it's pretty much adding more recoil to the gun because that thing was a laser beam. Heavy Tao's Para 308 is getting its recoil buffed, and by a buff they mean it's getting fixed, as it won't be as much. Which is good because the thing did bounce, like it didn't, there was a lot of visual recoil to it, and it was just kind of all over the place, and that was the issue with it. They fixed the 0 ranked MMR exploit. I have no idea what that is, so I'm not even going to tune into it. And then there's some other balances here and there, and of course I am going to mention that Blitz has spent this is word for word, you guys can go check in the description, there is the link to the full patch notes, of course, down below. Blitz has spent a lot of time at the range, thus reducing his draw time on his weapon after triggering shield flash, which is his flashbang shield. There are no longer 2 seconds delay before Blitz can fire his weapon, so I'm assuming it's you hit the button and then you can start shooting immediately. This is something Matimio brought up in his video about buffing Blitz. It's a good step in the right direction. Now we just need to work on his body figure, and so he's not that chunky and doesn't like float around. Like I was fighting a couple blitzes. Actually, we were fighting a lot of blitzes today playing, and it's just like, goddamn, their knees just go flying everywhere. Like he really doesn't fit behind his shield. There's, of course, a lot of other general fixes, but there is a lot too. So once again, I am going to leave that to you guys to read. Those are like in the smaller fixes, but these are pretty much the big changes that we'll be seeing in the mid-season Reinforcement. I don't really give a shit about Twitch's elite skin. I think the elite skins look stupid anyway, so I'm just going to keep moving on. There's something about a health program. They just cut the technical server test. The technical server test is one of the first systems we'll be deploying to raise the quality of health in Rainbow Six Siege, deploying in further weeks the mid-season reinforcements patch. This test environment will focus on specific technical systems that we want to introduce to the game. The first of these will be one-step matchmaking, which was mentioned at the 6th Invitational. This is a new approach to our matchmaking to make it more stable. More information on the technical server test, one-side matchmaking, will be provided in the upcoming weeks. So it's kind of like a CTE for Battlefield, something we've been needing for a long time. Now, pretty much that's good, because Siege has a lot of work to do on its technical side. And hopefully we can get better hit reg so we can actually have a competitive game and get Siege into MLG and actually have a new game to watch, because Siege is really fun, but holy shit, the hit reg isn't that great. Anyways, let's move on to our kind of last speculative area. So as I mentioned before, the last mid-season reinforce we got when Tachanka got his deployable shield. The mentioned Mira was pretty much, she was able to enhance things, and this led to speculations of a defender being able to reinforce. I know everyone did a video on this, Matt, Serenity, everyone kind of covered this to the point where it's like, oh, there's a new operator leak, and they were kind of right. So I'm going to kind of I'm going to pretty much read the story here that they've listed. I guess some sort of lore, excuse me if I bore you, but selected to represent his country, operator Glaz faced the elite corps from over 19 countries at the Worldwide Army Games. He lost his first spot at the sniper competition to former Rainbow Six operator Glanos, who represented Greece. Now, there is no word about ever getting Greece in the game, but Siege has spoken about adding years on years of support for this game and adding into 5,500 operators. I know that was a thing that someone said once. I don't know if they're still planning on doing that. So if we ever get Greece operators, or maybe this person will come in with their kind of scope, spotting scope, so it'll continue, is a highly regarded in the field, having been decorated for a series of operations codenamed Raven Shield, led in Rio de Janeiro. After the sniping event, Glaz discussed with her some ways to modernize one of her prized attachments for sniper rifles. Glaz then met her in Cyprus, ran a few test sessions before returning to the field with an upgraded scope now equipped with thermal imaging. Glaz flip-up sight now has thermal imaging, can outline marks even through smokescreen at long range. That's pretty much the lore and how he got a new scope. There's a cute little picture that goes along with it. So if we ever get Grease operators, we maybe get a new sniper. I know that there was that kind of leak that happened, or that animation thing with that random bolt action motion. So maybe this will be that bolt action chick we'll get in like Season 3 or Year 3. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much covers it. I hope you guys learned some new today. Of course, it is linked down below if you guys do want to go check out the full details for the patch notes and everything along those lines. Without further ado, I'm the Danish Moose. The end screen will come up soon. Make sure you guys go check out that video there too. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys do subscribe so you can check out our Ghost Recon Wildlands playthrough, our roleplay playthrough if you want to call it that, and some more awesome Siege content coming up. We just finished playing a bunch of ranks, so I'm sure you guys will enjoy that. Anyways, I'm the Danish Moose, and I'll see you sexy beasts in the next episode. Peace.